But yeah, we're basically getting all the way over here because the farther away from the safe zone you are, as long as you're not taking too much damage, the less amount of people you're going to see. And if we're doing this type of challenge, we should be alright. We're at Squirrel Depot, and shoot, the zone's already coming. God dang it, the zone's already coming in, man. No, I always get, like, it's always amusing seeing the name Squirrel Depot. I mean, like, what does this have to do with squirrels, to be honest? Like, I don't know. Can anybody let me know in the comments section? As you can see, the map, it's not too far away, so there's really not much of an issue. But, yeah, we're going to get back into the Holy! What is this? What is this? Is there a guy trolling me? Oh my god. Dude, I was complaining that I didn't have good loot. Wow. Oh my god. I've never picked up so much stuff in my entire life. This is the best. This is the best. Oh my god. I don't think this challenge is going on anymore. I'm gonna be doing something different today. Hey everyone. My name's ExxotikGaming and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is very exciting because I am finally doing another tips and tricks episode for Rules of Survival. You guys really seem to enjoy these, and I'm happy about that. I enjoy making them. Today, we are going to be looking at the best tips and tricks to getting more loot in this game in the best areas. Rules of Survival is a battle royale game. You drop from the plane, and the first thing you do when you parachute to the ground is start gathering loot. So, how do you maximize your chances of getting the most loot possible in a game? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Also, we are going to be briefly looking at airdrops and when you should or shouldn't go for them depending on the loot they have in them. As always, I would greatly appreciate it if you left a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton, and it lets me know this video helped you. Also, if you play Rules of Survival, why not hit that subscribe button? I post tons of content on this game, gameplays, live streams, tips and tricks videos like this one, and much more. I think you'll enjoy the content I create. So yeah, with all that being said, I guess we should just dive into this. To start, we need to talk about the beginning of the game. This is the point that is many times the most important. You can either triumph in early game or fail miserably because you failed to get the good loot in the area you dropped into. Now there are several areas that will inevitably have the best loot. Cities and places with many buildings are going to be these areas. These are high traffic areas. It makes sense. There will be a lot of people in areas with the best loot. You'll have to expect a lot of action in early game if you're wanting to get a lot of loot in the beginning. In Gili Island, some of the areas with the most consistent best loot will be Rust Bay, Echo Valley, the Observatory, and Training Base. Sometimes logging camps can give you great loot, and it's known to spawn in a lot of snipers many times. Many people will say Research Edifice is good for loot, and that sometimes is true, but the big problem is it is far away from any other area, so you'll end up being in a very boring situation landing there. Also, no place can guarantee you the best loot, and since Research Edifice is so far away from other places, if you can't find good loot there, chances are by the time you get to the other places, they'll already be looted. Another place people claim is great for loot is Bitter Lake. The problem with this place is everything is so spread out, if you don't find a gun in the first building you land at, you'll be completely screwed. Now, this is very, very general, and we're going to get into more detail of where the best buildings and loot spots are in these landing zones in just a sec. First though, let's talk about the new map. The new map, Fearless Fjords, has even better loot than Gili Island sometimes since it is a much bigger map, and some of your best spots to land are Oil Factory, Traffic Hub, Sewage Plants, Fortune Island, and Sirius Port. Some people will claim places like Gold Mine and Steel Factory will have great loot as well, and that is true to a certain extent, but these places face the same dilemma as Research Edifice in Gili Island. They're so far away from other places and very far away from any action. You'll get all this loot, but not be able to test it out, which I think is pretty pointless to be honest. Now, here's the thing. If you're watching this video and you're a very passive player, it's going to be hard following this advice. You're going to have to change your playstyle if you want the best loot. The best loot spawns in the most active areas with the highest player concentration. You have to be willing to take risks when landing in these places. You may die, but that's just a fact of life. In Rules of Survival, it's not a big deal if you die.
I personally like getting the good loot. I'm willing to risk early game by landing in an area with good loot because I know if I'm successful when I land there and I manage to get out of there alive, I will be very set for end game. And plus, it's the beginning of the game. It's not as intense as the end. More risks are taken in the beginning. The best thing is, if you land in these high concentration areas, you'll find yourself getting an absolute ton of kills. It'll be awesome. I actually have a video that I posted a few weeks ago that goes more in depth with this, explaining how to maximize the amount of kills in a game. You're welcome to check it out. I'll have it linked in the description. But right now, we're talking about the loot in this game. Continuing on, getting more specific with the areas now, here are some good tips. If you're landing in a place like Training Base in Gili Island, for example, your best bet is to always land on the roof of a building first. There will, 95% of the time, be a gun there, half the time usually being a shotgun, and half the time either being a rifle or an SMG. Snipers sometimes can spawn in, but they're pretty uncommon. The thing is, you can't always guarantee landing there first. So, if you find yourself right behind another player, don't land at the same spot because they will get the gun first and instantly kill you. Instead, land very close to that player, but perhaps by the entrance to the bottom floor of the building, so that way you can run inside and get a gun before that player gets to you. In Traffic Hub, in the map Fjords, for example, aim for the top of the tall apartment building, but again, chances are someone will get there first. So, instead, land by one of the barns on the far side of the map, because that way you will be able to loot in peace. You will nearly always find a gun in these barns. I personally have found Oil Factory and Traffic Hub in the map Fjords and Training Base in Gili Island to be your absolute best places to land for good early game loot and many enemies to kill. Another good side to landing in these areas is there are many bots here, and the bots that spawn in always spawn in with weapons, so you can easily get these weapons alongside other things like armor easily as well. If you're landing at Oil Factory, I actually recommend landing at this spot in particular. For some reason, I almost always find a sniper here, and you will almost certainly find at least a rifle. It's a great spot. Don't land on top of the container buildings. I guess that's what they're called, whatever these things are. You'll be far away from other areas to loot, and if you don't find a gun, you'll almost certainly be screwed. Now, the key to getting good loot fast is planning your routes ahead of time. Don't land at one specific building and expect to find everything you need there. Land in an area surrounded by many buildings close by, and that way you can travel from one building to the next extremely fast. It's super important you do that. Another great area I've found for loot, just in general, it doesn't matter where you go, are the big apartment buildings scattered around the map. They're multiple stories tall, and you'll be sure to find good loot there considering they're just so big with so many possible areas for loot to spawn in. Again, you want to ideally spawn in where there are a lot of enemies, because this is a shooting game. You want to get a lot of kills. Now, this is by no means a guaranteed thing, but I find the roofs of the taller buildings to more consistently spawn in sniper rifles compared to other areas, and I find the smaller houses to more consistently find shotguns. Obviously, each type of gun is better for a different situation, so pick and choose where you want to go. You won't always find snipers on roofs, or shotguns in houses, but it doesn't hurt landing in these areas because you'll nearly always find weapons in these areas regardless what they are. Another great thing to add is you will see loot actually before you land. So say you're aiming for a roof, and you see there is only a shotgun on the top, perhaps. Before you actually land there, you can divert your flight path to a different area in the landing zone so you can find something better. Be alert and be ready to move your flight path at any time. Lastly, we need to talk about airdrops. Airdrops have the best loot in Rules of Survival. You will nearly always find an M249 or an insanely powerful sniper at these drops, assuming other players didn't already loot the drop. Also, you'll likely find Cardio Tonic, which gives you insane speed and helps you heal very fast, along with great supplies of ammo. Go for airdrops whenever you can. They are a high-risk targets, but the reward is always worth it in the end. If you can manage to loot an airdrop and get out of there alive, obtaining a weapon like, say, a Barrett sniper, you'll be set. You will be in a much better situation than most other players, having much better loot than nearly all of them. Of course, you should probably have a vehicle when looting airdrops, just so you're able to make a fast getaway. The only time you don't go for airdrops is if you already have a rifle with tons of ammo and a sniper in late game. The big key to getting the best loot in Rules of Survival is going to the busy areas. Places with many buildings will have the best loot. I personally find the most consistent best loot in places like, as I said, Training Base, Traffic Hub, and Oil Factory, but it can be different based off of where you go. Every match you go into is different. Every match has randomly generated loot, and no specific area in Rules of Survival will have anything guaranteed. If you ever find a video of someone claiming they found the permanent spawn area for a specific weapon, they're wrong, at least as of right now. So don't fall for those videos. Listen to the tips and tricks I've given in this video to not always be guaranteed the best loot, but instead maximize your chances of getting the best loot in the game. And hey, here's the thing. Rules of Survival certainly does not have any shortage of loot. You will find everything you need in a match you go into almost always, as long as you drop in the areas I've said were best. The developers make this game as action-packed as possible, and because of that, you'll find tons of loot everywhere in this game. And with that, that's basically it. We're finished with this tips and tricks video. I hope this video helped, guys. This is something a lot of you all have requested over the past few weeks, and I finally decided to get it done. I hope you benefited from it. If you did, and you thought the video was well made, please leave a like down below. It takes just a second, but it helps oh so much. Comment down below other tips and tricks videos you'd like to see on the channel, and make sure to subscribe for some more Rules of Survival content. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next episode.